Good morning, my beautiful people. Wonderful day today. How's it? How's it? Good morning. You know what I'm going to do, which I forgot to do, is I'm going to go get my Bluetooth speaker and get that puppy all in the mix. Who was waiting for me? Is that Andy? Come on, why is my thing not working? There you go. Good morning, welcome. Welcome to the live. All right, guys. Well, as most of you know, physical and financial fitness is what we talk about here. I get together with folks live right here in my dungeon garage gym. We call it the dungeon. And I go live right here in my garage gym. And what we do is we chat fitness or finance. And today, since I have a golf tournament tomorrow, usually I'm going to be doing a workout, you know, weightlifting and a good workout. But today I am not lifting weights because, so I get this thing figured out, because I have a golf tournament. You heard? I have a golf tournament tomorrow morning early that I'm playing in, and I don't like to lift heavy the day before a golf tournament because, boy, let me tell you something. It's tough to golf when you're tight and sore from lifting heavy weights. So I don't normally like to lift heavily before I golf. So tomorrow morning we got a tourney going on for golf, and so I'm not going to lift heavy today. We're just going to have a chat. I'm going to do some stretching though. My lower back, my legs, and things like that can use some stretching. And what I've done, guys, for golf related stretching, actually, to get your back and your legs and things like that stretched out, your golf muscles, I had this large dowel or this, inch post here, inch thick rod, wooden rod. And what I did is I've put some metal eyes in the ends of these pieces of wood here. And what this allows me to do, guys, is it allows me to have something here where I can do a lot of good stretches and generally a lot of good stretches related to golf, but also we can actually hook these onto the pulley systems if we do have some sort of a cage pulley system like this one. This one is Mikolo, and it's like really, really, really affordable right here. This pulley system is very affordable, and it's obviously very small. It's very small. So if you want to get yourself a pulley machine like that, you can actually take this wooden staff and you can put these eyelets in the ends of it. And that way you can actually do some exercises with some resistance and things like that when you hook it up to the pulleys for golf related stretching specifically. So my name's Patrick. Of course, I come here live in my garage gym. We call it the dungeon. And I do it every morning from 6:30 to 8 a.m. We answer questions live. There's no script. It's unscripted. It's raw. And I answer questions live about fitness or finance. So if you're trying to get yourself in a little bit better shape physically, okay, or you're trying to get yourself in better shape financially, then that's what we're here for. So if you guys have questions about dieting, how to shed fat, how to build muscle mass, those kinds of things, then I'm here for you. And one of the reasons why I do this, guys, is that I know when people are trying to get in better physical shape, it's tough for them to have support system, right? Not all your other buddies and family members like to wake up early before the sun rises and get to action, right? Not everybody's that into physical fitness. In fact, today in America, it's really much the opposite, right? And I had been going down that path myself. So I had been going down the drinking too much alcohol, not getting enough sleep, and certainly not lifting weights. It had been like 15 or 20 years since I had actually done any weightlifting. And man, was I unhappy with my progress. And I was growing that beer belly, and everything was just going downhill, guys. So I had to quit the drinking of the alcohol. That was a nice little problem I had. I used to love beer, and I had to give that up, guys. It was just not good for me. So I had to give that up, and I had to get into the gym. Now, I don't like to go to the gym, especially early in the mornings, man. I'm not a morning person. I'm usually kind of sluggish in the morning. So for me, it's tough to self-motivate to get out of that nice warm bed early and like get moving. So if I don't have to pack up a gym bag and I don't have to get in my car and then I don't have to drive over there and see a bunch of other strangers and stuff like that, better for me, guys, just personally. So I don't know if that's you. My wife, on the other hand, would just much prefer going to the gym. Me, I would rather be right here. So we did some simple things like building this Makolo rack right here, which was not very expensive, but it gives you all the pulleys that you need to do most exercises. And then you also can put on here from Scotland. Holy moly. I'm gonna put you can put on here squat rack, and you've got your pull-up bar, and you got, so I mean there's a lot of stuff you can do with just a little setup like this. And then we have the benches and the dumbbells and some free weights. So not a lot, not an expensive setup, not a big spot, but those of you guys who join me in the mornings, one of the main reasons that I do this, guys, is to help other people stay motivated to move, help other people stay motivated to work out. So I know it's on the West Coast where I live. Um, on the West Coast where I live, of course, it's early in the morning. For us, it's 6:30 in the morning right now, guys. So I come live 6:30 to 8 a.m. And so, maybe you're in the East Coast and it's not so early anymore. And there's also people like this, guys, that are coming in from Scotland, right? Scottish Rebel 89 is coming in from Scotland. I know Andy, my boy, he's originally from London. Um, and so anyhow, guys, what we like to do is we like to motivate each other. I like to be a support system for people that want to get themselves moving. You want to get, you want to shed weight. You want to just be more healthy physically. You want to feel more energetic, right? So if you're into your physical health, I want to be your motivation, hopefully, to help you get moving each day or to eat better or to, whatever you want to do to better your health. So I would love to be that person for you, okay? But that's not the main reason I come here because, guys, I'm not a fitness influencer. I am not trying to be something I'm not. So I'm not a fitness influencer. I'm not here to, try to act all buff and jacked. I don't have a bunch of tattoos. I'm not going to show off my Lambo and all that stuff because that's not just who I am. But I will be able to offer hopefully nuggets for you guys in how to become more financially free. Get further away, if not completely away, from a 9 to 5. The 40-40 plan of working 40 hours a week for 40 years of our lives is such a scammy plan. I don't know if y'all feel that way. Do you feel that way? Put your hand up in the comments. Type a 1 in the comments. Let me know what you feel, what I'm feeling. But to work 40 hours a week for 40 years of our lives is kind of a scammy plan. I don't know if you guys agree. That's kind of an unnatural thing. I know we must labor. We must labor, guys. It's just a part of being a man or a woman. A man generally, but we have to labor. But do you ever feel like that, guys, where it's like this plan that we were all sold, I guess, for the bunch of now a few generations? What a scammy plan, man. 40 or 50 years of your life, 40 or 50 hours a week, away from kids, away from doing things you love, away from your family, away from all this so that you could just so you can work, right? To pay bills. So I want to help people break out of that. All right. I don't agree with it. I don't think anybody should have to have that life. And I know that there's ways that we can break out of it. 100+ hours a week for several years, man. Cristiano. Okay, sorry. It's hard to read on my cell phone. It's so small, but it's Cristiano. I like that name. 100+ hours a week is ridiculous, right? It's okay though. I mean, like, I'm not dogging it. I was doing the same thing. I was working 50 or 60 hours a week. I mean, I was working 50 or 60 hours a week as a sales manager, doing that same grind as everybody, right? I was waking up early in the morning, right? Not for me, for someone else. I was waking up early in the morning because I had to get into oh, you're a truck driver. That's pretty cool. I had to get into traffic, put my suit and tie on, right, guys? I was wearing the suit. I'd put the suit and tie on. I had to drive through the San Diego traffic early in the morning, the rush hour traffic, for sitting there for an hour, hour and a half, go and give a sales meeting to about 20 or 30 salespeople in a room 5 days a week. I had to be responsible for the outcome of the sales production of that branch. And so basically I was the head honcho for the owner of the company, doing all the dirty work and training all the salespeople to make the owner all the money. And, that's not cool. Not cool, guys, to have to live that life. I remember, bottom line was, guys, I knew I had a great income. I don't know if you can relate to this. I had a great income and I was well respected, but I had no time. So I didn't feel like I had a life. I couldn't go on a vacation or anything like that. So that's one of the other reasons why, you come join me on my lives here, guys, which is I was able to break out of that cycle. Okay. Wasn't easy. I had to make huge sacrifices. I had to learn a lot, step outside my comfort zone, and do a whole bunch of different things that most people aren't willing to do. But I was able to break away from a 40 or 50 hour a week grind, become much more financially free, and am on the way now to building up some wealth and some protection for my family. So, yeah, exactly. What is that, Cristiano? A vacation? I felt the same way, man. Cristiano's on here going, what the hell's a vacation? I don't know what that one of those things looks like. I get it, man. I get it. Like what you did, you do that most won't do. Yes. Well, look, I mean, the bottom line is this. It's pretty easy to outperform most of society these days. Good news for you guys. Pretty easy to outperform most of society these days. Think about that. Most people are so far removed from bettering themselves that they don't even think about it. Just stuck. Oh, Christian. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, Christian. I like that name. We got a couple. I have a family member named Christian as well. So Christian or Chris, whatever you like to go by, man. I don't want to call you out on a name that you don't like to go by. I can go with Christian or Chris, whatever you like, man. But so anyways, guys, that's one of the reasons you might want to join me on these lives, and to be able to, ask questions where it's unscripted. And, look, obviously you see, I'm not going to be here showing off, my tats. I'm not going to give you this big story of how I was in prison before, but now I'm made it and all this. I've been crushing it my whole life, man. I didn't make mistakes and go to prison. I don't like those stories, right? So the comeback story. What about those of us who never had to make the comeback, dude? We just were on the straight lace from the beginning. We did our best from the beginning. We didn't go to prison, right? So, oh, Lemon, thanks, man. Like my live and support me. Yeah, thank you, dude. But that's what I want to be able to do, guys, is help people to to do things that aren't even really that hard to do. But as was just said, most people are just not willing to do it. Did you know that I talked about this subject yesterday? That I was talking about that. Isn't it amazing? Tell me if you think so. Isn't it amazing that people will learn enough to know what to do in order to better their lives? They know what to do, man. It's not like wow, I wish somebody would help me out. I need to figure this out. I need to figure out how to change. No, people learn all they need to learn. They know what to do to make really positive change in their lives, but they just still won't do it. They just don't do it. Does that make sense? So that's why it's a little bit easier now these days to kind of outpace most of the public. Yeah, they're not action takers. Exactly. They're not. And listen, I want to put things very simple to you guys, right? Answer me this first. What would $200 a month of passive cash flow do for your life? I'm not talking Lambos here. I'm not talking mansions, and I'm not talking that you get to go and buy Louis Vuitton bullshit. I'm asking, addiction is difficult to overcome. Damn straight. I used to love alcohol. I was somewhat of a binge drinking alcoholic, functioning, right? I picked my times, but when it was time to drink, I drank. Not good for your body, not good for your heart, not good for your soul, and not good for the people around you. So I had to give that up. But yeah, so that's what I'm asking, guys. So, Chris said it would, ease some of the pain, right? It would add some cheese to the burgers, baby. So think about that, guys. $200 a month doesn't seem like a lot. $200 a month coming in, though, every single month passively. That just means, like, the lesson that happens with passive income, the lesson that begins to happen is that just means that's $200. Might not seem like a lot. I always say, though, if you're walking by on the sidewalk and you saw $200 on the ground, would you just dismiss it and just step over it and keep going? I doubt it. When people say $200 isn't that much, I go, okay. But if you saw $200 on the ground, you wouldn't just step over and run from it. You would grab it and think, oh, here's my lucky day. So $200 is $200. We have to consistently trade time and energy for money to pay bills. True? Unless we do something purposeful to try to start building some type of passive income. Period. Says we don't have our money working for us while we're asleep. We're going to continue working for money for the rest of our lives. So one's a slave to the other. We can easily be a slave to money, but also we can turn that around and we can have money acting as our slave. Don't pick up that money. It's a setup. How funny, Lone Wolf. Yeah, for sure. If there's $200 sitting on the ground, don't even go for it, man. It's a setup. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that $200 a month, like, and I'm only using this as an example, guys, because I hate these gurus that are always talking so big and so vast. And then you look down in the little bottom of their, their disclaimer to their coaching program, and it says something like, well, these results are not exactly at all common. This doesn't happen for most people. This is just a rare circumstance that I'm advertising my program around. That's ridiculous. So I like to talk in reality. Yes. I love it, dude. New Day. Who even owns a Fox hat in 2026? Boom, shakalaka. Yes, you love it. I'm glad you appreciate the style, right? I didn't wear my Stussy shirt down here. Just the Fox hat, nah? That's right. Fox hats are dope. I just like the symbol. I just like the little fox symbol. I don't necessarily wear the Fox hats that say the word Fox, Fox, and all that stuff. I just like this little guy, right? I just like this guy. What would the fox say? All right. So, anyways, $200 a month passively simply is just $200 every single month that you don't have to go trade time and energy for. Okay. So, let's not talk huge right now. Let's talk very small. If you had $200 a month coming in, would it ease the pain? That's what was said in the chat just now, right? It would ease the pain. Would it make you richy rich right now? No. I don't even have two bucks in my bank account. Well, we better change that. Lemon. We could easily change that. But I digress. Get off my soapbox, guys. The bottom line is this, okay? $200 a month passive cash flow would start to change your life. Wouldn't be hugely life-changing. You're not going and buying Lambos, okay? But the bottom line is, yes, every little bit helps, right? Lone Wolf, every little bit helps. And so $200 a month passive cash flow. Here was how I started creating my financial freedom by way of passive cash flow, guys. I started thinking about bills, okay? Because we just said we got to bust our ass 40, 50 hours a week for 40, 50 years of our lives to pay these damn bills, okay? And most of the time we're thinking that there's some pot of gold at the end of the rainbow they call retirement. When you're finally old, okay? When you're finally old, your knees are bad, your energy's bad. You've gotten to more so the end quarter of your life. They go, well, this is the promised land, though. Wait till you get there. Everything's going to be fantastic. I know a ton of individuals that are ready to retire pretty soon, and they have no money, guys. They don't have retirement. Did you know over 50%? I'm going to change this tripod. Did you know over 51%? I think it's 51%. Somebody look up the stat. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, that 51% of Americans, when they retire and they're already 65 years old, have $100,000 in retirement. $100,000 in retirement, you guys. And I don't know if the lifespan, you could check me on this too, but is lifespan 80 or 85 now, right now? I don't know. I don't know what the lifespan is in the United States. But if people are trying to say, I'm going to retire at 55 or 65 years old, and they live to 80 or 85, do you know that most retirees these days now, or at least over 50% of retirees these days, are afraid that they're actually going to run out of money before they die? Isn't that a jacked up thought to have? Isn't that a jacked up thought to have, you guys? I'm afraid that I might run out of money before I die. That's kind of like weird thought, dude. And, when we're younger, we don't think about those things. And that's why a lot of people aren't extraordinarily proactive. A lot of people aren't extraordinarily proactive about building passive cash flow, accumulating assets, and doing smart things earlier on in life before they get to a point where it's already kind of like, I don't want to say too late, because it's never too late. But you know what I'm saying? If you're 65 years old and you're trying to retire and, you don't have the energy to go out there and trade the time and money like you used to, when you're a young man or a young lady, and you go out there and now you're, you know, you're in trouble, man. You don't have enough money to live off of, right? Like, let's say you invested $100,000 at 10%. What are you making? 10 grand per year. People can't live off 10 grand per year. I seen a grandma working at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying, Chris? That's right, dude. McDonald's, Home Depot, and I'm not bagging. I'm not, guys. Please, I'm not being a wise guy or trying to bag people. I'm just saying. I know that all of us on here could probably say that when you're 72 years old, you'd rather be spending time doing things that you love, enjoying the last quarter of the football game, okay? Hanging with grandkids that you probably have by that point and doing wonderful things in life and maybe seeing locations on the planet that you've never been to or whatever. But it's like, things that are better in life than you have to work, 30 or 40 hours a week at the Home Depot or the Walmart. Straight up. None of us want to do that. Okay. If it wasn't for his house being paid off, he wouldn't make it. Gosh, man. Yes. And, let me tell you something, guys. That leads me right here, guys, because, let me say how we might be able to really help someone. There's a thing that I've learned recently that you can do to help someone that's in a bad situation financially when they're older, but we spun it around and we put steroids. Have you guys ever heard of a reverse mortgage before? And guys, if you're just hopping on, my name is Patrick. I do fitness and finance talk here live in my gym. And usually I'm pumping iron and doing a workout and motivating people to lift and all that. But I have a golf tournament tomorrow morning. I hate lifting weights heavily before I go get into an actual golf tournament. If I'm just going to play golf with the buddies, I don't care. But if I'm going to play in a tournament and it counts for something, I don't like to lift the day before. So I have a tournament tomorrow. That's why I'm not lifting today. I'm just chatting with you guys. And it's good, though, because we get a little bit more intimate connection here, guys, where we can actually talk. But have you guys ever heard of a reverse mortgage? What do you mean, Lemon? I was wondering how you were in shape. I wasn't in shape starting a year and a half, 2 years ago. I just started working out, and you keep putting off the leg workout. Dex, I know, man. I'm walking 18 holes tomorrow. I have a golf tournament tomorrow. We did a leg workout this week. It was minor, very minor, and then I jumped rope when I got off the live. But yeah, leg days aren't my favorite. Yeah, do you know what a reverse mortgage is? So, anyways, check this out. So my partner's friend, my partner Desi, his friend came to him and was a guy who wasn't going to be, concerned with leaving his old house to his kids. He had set up some things like life insurance and things like that, and knew that his kids wouldn't be destitute when he was gone. And older guy was in a situation where his mortgage payment on his house was quite large. His retirement income wasn't much, but he had a little bit of cash, okay, or a little bit of equity. Excuse me. He had equity in the house, and he wasn't concerned too much about his kids or his heirs at that point. So what we did was we got him a reverse mortgage on his house. He got a reverse mortgage on his house. And what happened is that eliminated mortgage payments for the gentleman. He didn't have a mortgage payment anymore. Right. So that's what happened. So it eliminates that bill of whatever it was, a couple $1,000 a month from his life. But the cash that they got out from the reverse mortgage, we helped him invest that into mortgage notes for cash flow. So we took a guy that was really super tight financially, older in age, super tight financially, had life insurance and some things, so knew his children and grandchildren were not going to be destitute. Knew they wouldn't want his old house. They would probably just sell the house immediately for the cash and then squander the cash. So what he did for his life while he's still alive to enjoy his golden years was to do a reverse mortgage and take the cash pull out from the reverse mortgage, invest that in notes. It eliminated his monthly mortgage payment, which is a couple $1,000s a month. And it put like 350 grand into his pocket, put that 350 grand to work at 10%. He's making 35 grand a year with passive monthly cash flow, and got himself a younger girlfriend and bought himself a Harley, I think is a part of that story. But anywho, we're just talking about passive cash flow here today. We talk about fitness and finance in the mornings from 6:30 to 8 a.m. Usually I'm doing a workout. I motivate people to get physically fit because I had to make a change to do that. And also I was able to quit my 9-to-5, become more financially free. Now I run an investment fund and have been doing investing full time since 2018. So I like to share, guys, how we can create passive cash flow, how we can become a little bit more financially free. And I like to do it raw, where, I'm not some scripted guru reading off some teleprompter right now, guys. We're live in my garage gym, and we were able to talk back and forth with one another and be real about it, right? Be straight. But so anyways, super cool techniques you can do to help people like that if you understand the money business. But for us, if we just start to think about our bills, okay? Tell me this in the chat. I'd like to know. And probably there may be a couple in your life, but let me ask you this. What bill, what bill you have to pay monthly? What bill, like cell phone, groceries, whatever, your fuel, food, whatever it is. But what bill in your life is $200 per month on a consistent basis? That you're consistently paying this $200 a month, $200 a month, $200 a month, every month. For what bill? Yes, you can. In fact, Chris, I'll get into that in a second if you want me to get into the reality of that. Chris said, can you invest a couple grand to get started with passive income? Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of people squander the money from a reverse mortgage. This could be true, Roddy. They don't have good counsel. Dexter says insurance. James, you're saying the phone. Lemon, you're saying the light bill, phone bill. All right, so you guys get it. We can identify a bill in our lives that every damn month we're going to pay that bill, no matter what. You're not going to get rid of your cell phone. So you're going to pay your cell phone bill every single month. We know that. That bill's not going to go away anytime soon. Well, is it fair to say that you now know in your head, mentally, psychologically, you're going to have to figure out a way to go out this month and do some sort of work, some sort of effort, time and energy traded to get that $200 to pay your cell phone bill. Fair to say? Yes or no? Okay. So what if at a very small scale, guys, when we're not talking about, all this financial freedom and look at my Lambo and all that crap, okay? Not that. I'm talking about reality, guys. So in my mind, I started thinking in the very beginning when I was trying to walk down the different path to financial freedom and change my life financially. And I started to think, $200, not a lot, but what bill in my life is $200 that I continuously have to bust my ass for every week and every month to just pay it every month, every month, every month? Okay. The financialist guy is back trying to sell something. Well, stick tight, buddy. Stick tight. I'm just talking reality. I'm not trying to sell nobody nothing, but that's for you to decide, right? So I'm just talking passive cash flow and financial freedom, giving some, I guess, theory? Theory? So maybe you learned something. But I just started to think that bill's not going to go nowhere, right? You got your cell phone bill. You're going to pay it every month. You ain't going to get rid of your cell phone. So you got to pay that. And let's say it's $200 a month, right? All right. So that exists. Now I thought, okay, if you could do something, if you could figure out a way to get $200 a month coming in monthly passively, you can get $200 a month coming in passively. Well, then that means that bill is paid for with my money working for me. The bill is paid for. I don't any longer, guys, I'm just trying to show you the mental aspect of it, but I don't any longer have to worry about working, trading more of my time and energy for that bill. Does that make sense, guys? In your mind, I'm just going, well, okay, that bill's paid now because I got $200 a month of passive cash flow coming in. Someone said in the comment earlier, well, that could free you up a little bit. Well, that's the point, guys. We have to inchworm our way to this financial freedom. It don't happen overnight, and it don't even happen in 1 month or in 1 year. Usually, I think, guys, to really create real financial freedom and make a huge change where people won't even notice you anymore, where you could quit your W-2 job and do blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, guys, I really think it's a 36-month game for most people. It just doesn't, I haven't seen it happen much quicker than that. Meaning to replace your whole entire job income with passive income where you can quit your W-2 job. That's a 2 to 3 year, in my opinion, game for most people. I haven't seen it happen much quicker than that, done in a proper process. But if you got that $200 a month coming in of passive cash flow, does that just free you up a little, right? That just says, okay, now there's a bill that I pay every damn month, cell phone, insurance, whatever it may be, that I don't have to go next month to trade my time and my energy for that money anymore. That bill is paid. Okay. Now, if we start there, you guys, and if you guys could get $200 a month passive cash flow, $100 a month passive cash flow, I'm just giving you guys, it doesn't matter how much, but it's just passive cash flow that you don't have to go work for. Okay. Then you learn, guys, that, well, I guess you could say it gets addicting then, right? Because start listing out your bills on a piece of paper, right? Take out like a piece of paper and a pen and write down all your bills, and write down your cell phone bill, how much, groceries, how much, car payment, how much, insurance, how much, fun. How much fun do you like to have? I mean, I'm not saying, guys, to go get rich and increase your lifestyle and buy a Lambo. It's not what I'm teaching here. I'm just trying to teach you guys how to create what we call financial freedom. And financial freedom, I believe everybody can attain. I don't really seriously believe everybody can attain the level of wealth to be able to buy mansions and Lambos. I don't think that that's the truth. I think that's going to be a more rare individual out there. Possible, yes, much more rare statistically, that somebody is worth 100 million and they're able to go out there and buy Lambos and do all this yachts and stuff you see on the boob tube. Okay. That they shove in your face. I'm just talking about reality, guys, of regular people like us that just need to get financially free. So when you're looking at that, write down all your, look to get out your Rocket Money app, like Dexter's saying, get out your Rocket Money app, put your bills in there, see exactly what it is you need right now to live, right? That is what, that on that piece of paper, when you write down all your bills that you have, that piece of paper right there is going to end up being the total number that separates you right now in your current lifestyle from slavery or financial freedom, period. That's how I looked at it. So I look at that, look at all your bills, and I go, okay, so I'm just going to put this out there, guys, and I don't know anybody's bill set. I obviously live here in San Diego, California, so things are a lot more expensive out here in San Diego than a lot of the other places around the United States. I get it. So I won't use my budget necessarily for an average, but let's just say, okay, and you guys tell me in the chat if I'm off here, but let's just say $5,000 per month, okay? Let's say somebody wrote down how much they pay for their mortgage or rent, their car payment, their groceries, you name it. Okay. Write it all down. Do this exercise. It's good for you anyways. Write it all down or use a Rocket Money app. Okay. Or whatever, a budgeting app on your cell phone, whatever, but you'll figure out the total number, and it's total number of necessity, guys. I'm not trying to say for you to go out and buy fancy stuff. Okay. And increase your lifestyle immensely like a nutcase. Okay. I'm trying to say freedom, guys, financial freedom. How much money do you need right now with your current lifestyle to be free? Meaning, you would say, man, I go to work. You'd say, Patrick, I go to work every month. I go to work every day. I go to work every week. I go to work every month. And I'm making somewhere I'm earning about $5,000 a month at the end of the day. Okay. Somebody may be able to tell me that you're working 40 hours a week for $5,000 a month. And I'm just throwing $5,000 a month out there as a number, guys, so we can have the conversation. But so not increase lifestyle, not get a nicer, doper car, not get a bigger, better house, not get all these things are increased lifestyle. And your current lifestyle right now, there's a number. There's what you pay for rent or mortgage. There's what you pay for cell phone bill. There's what you pay for all these little bills. Lemon says, now that you say that, my damn trash pickup service bill is $200. Crazy, right? So what would be your number? Somebody tell me your number down in the chat. Doesn't even matter what it is, guys. If you only need $3,000 a month right now on a constant basis to survive and pay your bills, maybe you need 5, maybe you need 7, maybe you need 10. It doesn't matter. I'm just curious because I live in San Diego and we are not national average out here, unfortunately. San Diego, everybody's 8K Dexter. Boom. Dexter, you're in Cali though, too. Dexter lives in California with me though, too, in San Diego. It's expensive out here. It's not necessarily the mean average for the United States, but Dexter says $8,000 a month. Okay. Fair enough. So you have this $8,000 a month number. Okay. I guess my point is, are you doing anything to try to figure out a way to build any type of passive cash flow? You don't have to do it the way I do it. Like I said, like some people say in the comments, oh, here's the financial guy here to sell stuff. I'm not here to sell you a damn thing. here to give you guys insight and have a chat in the mornings with you. And usually I'm not even paying attention to you guys this much, right? I'm usually working out, lifting weights, trying to get my workout in, but I have a golf tournament tomorrow. So day before a golf tournament, competitive golf tournament, where my team's counting on me. It's a team tournament tomorrow. I don't like to lift heavy. And I got some sort of golfer's elbow already too. It's killing me. Anybody have any cure on golfer's elbow? Is Chase on here? I got like a strain up here in my upper forearm and stuff like this. And it's killing me, man. I got to like massage it out or something like that. I got golfer's elbow. I never thought there was going to be a thing like that. Golfer's elbow. Anyway, I digress. But, so for Dexter, $8,000 a month. Yeah. Men's club. Yeah. It's the MGA tournament at the country club. Chase is asking. The two-man, 4-ball, better ball. I don't know what it is. Anyways, it's a tournament tomorrow, and my buddy is counting on me to play well, so I don't like to go all sore and jacked from lifting. I'm just actually able to just talk with you guys this morning, which is a little more rare. So Dexter's saying $8,000 a month, right? So $8,000 a month pays the bills. Now, of course, Dexter would say, but more than that would be great because I could increase my lifestyle, right? But with his current lifestyle, if he could make $8,000 a month, it pays the bills. Okay. Now, currently, I know Dexter. So I know Dexter's out trucking, right? And there was another trucker on here. And I forget who it was, Dex, but you can look back in there. There's a fellow trucker working 70 to 100 hours a week on here. If you're still on, I'm trying to look back. Oh, truck driver, Chris. Yeah. So Chris is a truck driver too, but we do what we got to do, guys, and we find profession and we find work, and we got to do what we got to do because we know at least if we can enjoy what we're doing, if we don't mind driving trucks around, if we don't mind being a sales manager and training salespeople, if we don't mind laying brick, if we don't mind being a roofer, if we don't mind it, that's why we kind of sometimes fall into these job careers because you go, well, I guess it's the best of the worst. Everything sucks. I don't really want to work, but because I have to work and pay bills, I can do something that I'm good at, or I enjoy, or I fell into because a buddy recommended, or whatever. People, that's how they fall into these careers that they end up staying with for a long time. It wasn't really their dream. When I grow up, I want to be not what they became. So we just are having a bust ass. Okay, you get it? You get it? Slave to money. Okay, and then Dexter's saying he has to be a slave to $8,000 a month. That's how I started thinking. So I started to think for Dexter. Dexter's a slave. Dexter's a slave to the $8,000 a month in which is his master. Isn't that crazy? Right? And of course, nothing you can do about it. Unless you want to lose your shit, be foreclosed on, not be able to buy food for the kids. Of course, we don't want to get in that situation. So we all desperately go out there and work, and we work our asses off, and we try to get by. Okay. Excuse me. So we talked about earlier these bills, right? Dexter says $8,000 a month. So we talked about what would $200 a month, only just $200 a month passively do for you. Somebody said it would free things up a little bit. Yes. And what it does, guys, if you can do something, if you guys want to ask me how, great. I'll tell you various ways to do it. But that's not today's coaching. I'm just trying to give you philosophy behind finding out a way. 19 in the chat. Could y'all like the video? Thanks, AJ. I appreciate you, dude. Yeah, I mean, guys, you know what? If you guys want to discuss financial intelligence and you want to discuss physical and financial motivation, you want to get healthier and you want to get some insight on how you can start to break away from the financial matrix, that's why you would subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, or do anything like that AJ is suggesting. If not, you think I'm a bullshitter or I'm some salesperson trying to pull one over on you, then don't. Okay? Then don't. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, thank you, AJ. Yeah, if you subscribe to my channel, guys, you can watch the replays of these, and apparently some folks get some juice out of what I do here in the mornings. Okay. At least if I can, guys, and again, if you get 100 haters, but one person that you really help to change their lives for the positive, that's worth it to go through the haters to get to the one person that you really help to change their lives. And that's the facts. Okay. So that's why I'm here. I don't care about haters. I don't care about judgmental people. I don't care. They're usually hating and judging from their own insecure standpoints. I like to be able to just help people. And I know these days it's weird and it's odd. Okay. I'm not out for myself on these lives. Okay. I'm out for myself and doing my business all day long at my office and so on. Here, in these lives. I'm here just to get raw with people and help to just provide information if I can for free. Okay. $4K a month, working in a kitchen, want to get out of this life, working late at night all the time, make shit money. Hell yeah, James. Want to learn how to be financially free. All right. So we're like, guys, so we're going to break this down. Okay. Let's start with this $200 a month passive cash flow thing. We talked about what bill would that pay? A couple of people in here said insurance, cell phone bill. Well, you think like insurance and cell phone and these kind of bills are going to disappear? No, they're always going to be there. So in my mind, I was just going, damn it, I am literally a battery or an energy slave to the bills that I have to pay. It was starting to irk me, dude. I was going, 40, 50 hours a week to pay the bills, to work 40 and 50 hours a week again, to pay the bills, to work 40 and 50 hours a week again, to pay the bill. You guys get it's just a vicious ass cycle, and it gets us stuck without any life to enjoy until we're too old to enjoy it. Serious, guys. It sucks, right? So I'm like, okay, like you guys, I got to figure out a way. I got to figure out a way to get out of this. I got to figure out a way to get my ass out of this kitchen, man. I've been working in the kitchen here. Okay. Making shit money. I got to work late at night. I don't like it. I want to get out of there. Well, that's the first step, obviously, is mental commitment. But then we got to figure out the hows and all that. But let's just start with the $200 a month. So you got $200 a month passive cash flow coming in. Then can you say mentally, that is $200 next month that I don't have to work for, that I'm not a slave to, right? I took the power back over that $200. I took the power back over that $200. That $200 bill, that cell phone bill every month had my ass. That cell phone bill had me slave to it. Now that I figured out a way to get at least that much, say $200 a month of passive cash flow coming in, I have turned the tides. I have now been able to say mentally, that's $200 a month I no longer have to work for. That's $200 a month I no longer have to trade my time and energy for. $200 less that I have to trade my time and energy for, right? So with that mindset, then would you start to just simply go and take a look at other bills in your life? Would you start to look at the other bills in your life and think, how can I systematically and step by step start to knock those bills out of my life? If you're just hopping on, we're talking about passive cash flow, how to set yourself financially free. I talk fitness and finance from my garage here, and it's all open and raw. So we do questions and Q&A in the chat, and I like to address it here to help people with some advice. Basically, I'm here as Unc or whatever you want to call us these days. Somebody who's been there, done that. I was able to create physical freedom, financial freedom, get myself physically back to healthy, and get myself financially free within a few short years. Both of those things, physical and financial. A few short years, I was able to flip it upside down. So if I can help other people do that, gives me pleasure. And if I can help other people change their lives for the better, fantastic. So you got $200 a month now. You don't have to work for ever again. You got passive cash flow coming in every month, $200 a month. You don't have to work for that $200 a month ever again. So maybe your cell phone bill or your insurance is now paid. You're not a slave to that bill any longer. Okay. Now then, could you pick another bill? Another reoccurring bill that you have to trade time and energy for money to go make that money for the Friday paycheck? Could you try to knock out the next bill? What bill is that? We could just go in the chat real easily. Like, all right, so Dexter, we knocked out the insurance. So your insurance, your monthly insurance bill, okay, is no longer a worry for you. That's paid for with passive cash flow. You don't have to worry about your insurance bill no more. What's the next bill you'd look at and say, I got to try to knock that one out too? Okay. Greater Boston area. So no kids, no wife, quite expensive to live out here. Show is, right? Sure is. Big city living. What's the next bill you'd look at? Does that make sense? Like, so, okay, you'd say, okay, I knocked out my insurance cost every month. That's paid for with passive cash flow. Paid for. Now, what other bill could I knock out? Do you guys see what I'm saying? So rather than people think so big about the gap, right? Because we're watching people that have already made it, that have put in the 10,000 hours, that have put in the years, that have done what it's taken, and now they're on Instagram showing off the result.
So when you get super duper jacked people, like when I say jacked, I'm physically obviously talking about physically jacked, muscular. When you see super jacked people, right? And you're seeing, it's impressive. You see people that have their bodies that are just chiseled and physiqued out, right? And muscles popping out, and you're going, damn, man. And they look different than most people. Well, most of us like to look at that result and be impressed by it, but most of us would not be impressed by how much work they put into that over the years to get to that point. Okay, and most of us wouldn't be willing to put in the work to get to that point. That's why a lot of people aren't walking around jacked. It's a very few rare people willing to put in the time, the effort, the work. Well, isn't it the same with finances then, guys? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's easier these days than ever to beat society, okay? To become better than most, okay? To become wealthier than most, to become more fit and more jacked than most, because the fact of the matter is most people are stuck in the matrix. End of story. You agree or not? Most people are completely brainwashed. Most people are completely detached. Most people have an attention span of a hummingbird. And most people are pure consumers, and not even consumers of good stuff. We're consumers of alcohol. We're consumers of horrible television. We're consumers of programming. We're consumers of the news. We're consumers of horrible products. Poisonous stuff we're consumers of. So Dexter said, the next bill I would knock out is my credit cards. Okay. Next bill I would knock out is my credit cards. Yeah, you want to get those credit cards gone. One of the things I did early on was I eliminated my credit cards completely, chopped them up, threw them in the garbage, never got another credit card ever again. And I know some people may think that's controversial. And well, how come? You could have used all these credit card programs for leverage and all this other shit. Guys, I got myself in trouble with credit cards when I was young, starting at like 18 years old. Ruined my credit score, got horribly in debt, and did a bunch of stupid stuff. And I was just done with it. So I don't do credit cards at all. But that could be something you need to get paid off. Would you consider learning poker dealing? Dude, poker dealing poker dealing is awesome, actually. I would never be a poker dealer because it's very monotonous. It's very monotonous. And also you're dealing with a bunch of retards at the poker table that have different attitudes. Some are drunk, some are doing this, not paying attention. So I wouldn't do that. But damn, poker dealers make really good money. Yeah, poker dealers make really good money. Yep. And I appreciate when I'm sitting at the poker table having a good poker dealer, of course. Okay. Very appreciated. I just would never do it. Newer generations are instant gratification and debt driven. Yes. Schools don't teach them how to even balance an account anymore. Yes. Absolutely. That's so true. So our schooling system was designed to spit out, compliant workers that will comply and not complain, guys, about doing the 40-40 plan, working 40 hours a week for 40 years of their life with no good retirement in their future. That's what they want everybody to do. And then of course, guys, if you're retiring at an older age and you don't have enough money to survive, if you're retiring at an older age, you don't have enough money to survive, can we say that maybe you might fall into a category that could be more dependent on government programs in your latter years, if that's the case? They don't want that, do they? No, they want us all to be self-sufficient and wealthy. Oh, shit. So that's why they don't teach it in schools anymore, guys. In fact, our schooling system for the last 3 generations, so think your grandfather, your father, or you. 3 generations now. Or more, but 3 generations for sure. The schooling system's been completely thrashed. What are you doing, a workout? Oh. So yes, credit cards. Chris has credit cards too. James, you would consider roommates to save money. I'm not banking on SS at all. Yeah, don't bank on Social Security. Don't bank on Social Security. Is that like a bodybuilding photo, Leonard, that I see on your profile or something? Are you a bodybuilder, Leonard? Badass if you are. Anyway. So yeah, guys, so it's about the passive cash flow. You get into the point where now you've got $200 a month coming in. You've eliminated your stupid whatever bill. Your Big Lenny. Big Lenny. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you, man. I do physical and financial fitness on here. It looks like your physical fitness is dialed in. Hopefully your financial too. But good to have you on here, Big Lynn. Big Lenny. No one calls me big anything. Big coach, maybe sometimes. But so how fun is that, guys? So we free ourselves up bill after bill. Let's think about that. So we go out and we make the effort. I'm trying to like make things functional for you guys. And for, I think most anybody can do this stuff. Anybody, you don't have to be super special, right? I'm proof of that. So you can get into this idea and mindset where you can create $200 a month of passive cash flow and decide what bill in your life you don't any longer have to work for anymore. Oh, it's my cell phone bill now. I don't have to work for my cell phone bill anymore. Oh, it's my, car payment. I've got my car payment taken care of now with passive cash flow. So then I started to think systematically when I was in the beginning. This is starting in 2018 for me, guys. 2018, when I started to think if I can just start to systematically knock off these bills I have one by one, you're now walking down a path that leads to financial freedom. Most people are not walking down a pathway to financial freedom. Most people are walking down the opposite direction of that path, which is to financial slavery. And as was agreed here in the chat by one of you folks, they're going more and more into bad debt, investing in liabilities, and selling their future selves, selling their, what I guess is the best way to say it. You're already giving up future work. You're already giving up future time and energy when you buy things with bad financing. And I'm talking about liabilities. Okay. You're trading your future self away already. AJ, I appreciate you, dude. AJ's in here saying, welcome. Patrick's brilliant and deserves success. Would you mind liking the video? I really appreciate that, AJ. I appreciate any type of support, guys. Of course, I'm here to help people. And the more people that get my content, I think the more people I can touch and the more people I can help. Even if it's just changing mindset. It all starts here, you understand? But it's so easy to outdo most of society right now. Good for you guys, okay? It's easier than ever to outdo society. Have you seen how unfit people are living? Have you seen the overweight epidemic? Have you seen how the average man, and I hate to say this, guys, but this is true statistics. I can't believe it, but it is. Did you know the average man in the United States, over 18 years old, we'll say 18 to, adulthood, the average man over 18 years old in America can't do more than 2 pull-ups. Most human beings these days, guys, couldn't even get themselves out of emergency trouble. Most people couldn't run away from a dog and hop over a fence these days to escape disaster. Okay, so it's pretty easy to outdo most of the public if you get on a consistent and healthy diet plan. You get on a consistent, healthy exercise plan. You just stick to it. Okay, you'll outdo 98% of society. What about finances? Same thing. Don't let it fool you, guys. The propaganda and the brainwashing. Don't let it fool you that what they throw in your face is people that have already been through the promised land and already have the Lambos, the Mercedes-Benz, the this, the that, the other. Half the people you're seeing on social media that have these fantastic shiny objects have stepped on their own grandmother's face and been fraudulent and ripped people off to get that Lambo most of the time. So don't envy these people. Don't envy these people. I'd like to say a lot of people can't correctly follow the directions for a Hot Pocket. That's kind of funny, right? You guys remember the Hot Pockets had directions on it? Excuse me, I don't know what's in my chest this morning. A little congested. Most people can't even follow the instructions to make a Hot Pocket. That's pretty funny, man. It's unfortunately funny. If you guys watched that movie Idiocracy before, have you ever watched that? If you watch that movie Idiocracy, I swear it's got so much parallel to what really looks like is happening in society right now. It's wild. They made they made a joke of how stupid people are becoming in society with that movie, but golly, if it isn't really taking place right in front of us. So you knock these bills out one by one. If you got $200 a month of passive cash flow, yes, it's happening, AJ. If you got $200 a month in passive cash flow, you've knocked one bill out of your life that you used to have to work your ass off for all the time. Yeah, Mike Judge did do a great job with that movie. Pretty funny. So many parallels. So you got $200 a month passive cash flow coming in, and now you don't have to worry about your insurance. You don't have to worry. You're not a slave to your paying your insurance bill anymore. You're not a slave to paying your car payment anymore. Well, we got that out of the way. Now what? Now would you just go hunt for the next one? So in my mind, guys, when I was starting to create financial freedom for myself, I started to think that way in the very beginning, because and I can give you this story to be real, since we're raw and uncut here in the mornings. I don't have a script. I think Dexter knows this story. I think maybe Chase knows this story. I'm not sure, but here's a funny story. The first deal I did, I don't even know. Half of you guys don't even know what it is I do, but neither here nor there. The first transaction I did that started to generate me passive cash flow. Oh man. All right. Big Lenny, I'd love to have you back, man. We can talk more bodybuilding and fitness stuff. Maybe you could teach me a thing or two. I like to learn here too. But thanks for cruising. Hit the subscribe and the little notification bell if you want, and I'll be here every morning, Monday through Friday. Most of the time lifting while talking. Today I'm chilling because I have a golf tournament tomorrow, so I don't want to go into a golf tournament with my golfing partner and my team that's counting on me, and I go there sore and having complaints about why my golf swing's so bad because I'm tight and sore, and I hate doing that. So I don't lift weights the day before a golf tournament. I take one day off. Recovery is just as important, guys. Recovery is just as important as growth in the process. And so I thought I would just take the time to still come live and talk to you guys today, regardless, and you guys have a little bit more of my attention, but appreciate all the support in that and you guys coming and watching. But so then I started to think, now let's start to getting big way too quickly. Yeah, that's so funny. Anyways, I won't get into that. That you made me laugh though, Bethany. We had a buddy once that said, I don't lift weights anymore. I don't like lifting weights. I don't lift weights no more. And then we were like, why? And a friend of ours said, well, when I lift weights, I get huge way too quickly and it messes up my golf swing. We were laughing. We still laugh about it till today. But anyway, I just don't lift weights the day before a tournament because I need to have some sort of flexibility and I don't want to be tight and sore during the tournament. But my buddy once said, I don't lift weights no more, man. We're like, why not? He's like, I get huge way too quick, man, and it messes up my golf swing. And we just keep laughing about that. That'll be funny for ages. Yeah, golf tournament tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. shotgun. First time here. Thanks, Dex, for introducing me to you. Thanks to Dex for introducing me to you. Oh, Christian Dexter introduced you? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Someone sent a message that's held for review. I don't know why. Yeah, ha ha ha. It was funny. It was funny, man. Yeah, that was a funny state. We were laughing. We were like, give me a break, man. And if you know the guy, you'd know he's half a bullshitter and definitely not jacked or in good shape these days. So anyways, it's just so funny. People will say anything. And thanks, Dex, for if Dexter's inviting people on here. It's great. And Chris, you're welcome to ask questions and stuff like that. A goober. A goober, Bethany says. But all good, guys. But you guys getting my point, guys. I know we go different sideways directions here, but I really wanted to give some inspiration just to know the mental aspect of setting yourself financially free can be a literal step-by-step thing. It's not a rush, and you're not going to go from, in the gym, right? And I know somebody who was here just a moment ago who had to bounce. Big Leonard, right? Got a bodybuilding photo, looks jacked. I haven't seen the photo up close yet. I can just see it there. But bodybuilder, Big Lenny, he was on here, right? You don't get to go from zero, out of shape, beer drinking, bad diet, bad sleep, no exercise, weak muscles, weak joints, and create that life. And then all of a sudden make a mental shift and go to being Big Lenny over here in Speedos on stage. Okay. It don't happen that way, does it? Guy like Big Lenny who was in here, and me, I know my progress over the past 2 years. If I showed you a picture of what I used to look like, you guys would be amazed. I still have a lot to work on physically, but I can look back and give myself hella credit for the last year and a half. I completely changed things around upside down. in the last year and a half of my life. Almost 2 years now. About a year and a half. Okay. So, and I did it financially. I became financially free within about 36 months, a little less than 36 months after I started on the track that I'm telling you guys to start on mentally, which is if I can knock each bill out one by one, it's a lot easier for you to digest than it would be to say, God, I need $5,000 a month. Or like Dexter said, I need $8,000 a month, or however much you need per month to survive and pay your bills. Well, I need to get to there as quickly as possible because I want this financial freedom. Big Larry, not Lenny. Okay, my bad. Was it Larry? No, Leonard. No, Big Lenny, he said. Big Larry. Lars. Oh, are you saying you're Big Larry? I don't know. Anyway, get back to this. If you knocked out your cell phone bill, and then you could say to yourself mentally, I at least have enough passive cash flow coming in monthly where I don't have to bust my ass to pay my cell phone bill no more. Then what would the next bill be that you would look at in your life? Then I started to think of, let's go with bills that aren't going anywhere. Let's go with bills that I'm going to pay for the next 25 years of my life, no matter what happens. Those bills, right? Are you going to pay for a cell phone bill? Yes. Are you going to pay for food? Yeah, you have your grocery expenses per month. That ain't going nowhere. You're going to pay for food. You're going to pay for, electricity. You're not going to go without electricity. You're going to pay for food, electricity, cell phone bill. You probably need transportation. My car's paid off. I don't have a car payment. It's paid off. But sometimes maybe you'll have a car payment. Car payment's not permanent, but you have a car payment. You got transportation. Definitely car insurance, these things. So looking at the bills that are never going to stop, right, means that you're slave to those bills. You're slave to those bills because the bills will never stop. They're going to continue to keep on tearing at you, and you're going to continue fighting that battle by having to go trade time and energy and work and money and be away from your family and be out there producing in order to continue fighting that battle. It's these bills that never stop, and you have to never stop so you can pay those damn bills. Truth, right? So if you started knocking off one bill at a time, how can I possibly get enough passive cash flow coming into my life that I could just at least pay my cell phone bill? And I don't have to be a slave to that no more. That's one thing. And if you could do that, if you had the ability, the knowledge, the ability, the support system, the coaching, the whatever you need, if you had that, and then you were able to go out there and produce $200 a month in passive cash flow, doesn't that mean that you now know how to do that? That you have the skills? You were obviously able to do that. So can you do it again? Could you go out there then and say, well, if my cell phone bill is taken care of passively and I don't have to trade time and money for that one anymore, what's the next one? What's the next bill in my life that's never going to stop? What's the next thing I have to be slave to because I have to pay that bill every month no matter what? It won't stop no matter what happens to me, even if I get sick. Because people don't think about that stuff either, right? Even if I get sick, really bad sick, or I get injured, or I get hit in a car crash, or something happens to me, right? And I can't no longer trade my time and energy to battle those bills that keep coming in. They're a constant battle, right? But something happens to me and I don't have the energy to go and battle those full force again. What happens? We get ourselves in a very bad situation. And sometimes it can affect our families when we are the ones that the family income counts on because we trade our time and energy as the men of the family to go out there and make that dollar bill. Well, something happens to us and our time and energy stops, then something can be very dangerous financially for ourselves, for our families, and we care about our kids and our families and stuff like that. So we know, guys, that we have to do something different. The existing system that we've been sold for the last 3 generations or more is certainly not natural, and it doesn't feel natural. It's not good. It's not good for society when men are gone 10 hours a day from the household. Okay? 5 or 6 days a week. It's not supposed to be that way. Okay? So how can we just do this passively and start knocking them out? Okay, so I'm just saying, think systematically about it to where we just don't have such a big gap, guys, that we think I'll never get there. It's a big gap where financial freedom seems mystical, that only these strange, weird, super intelligent people ever get to be financially free. Not me. I'm going to have to work my whole life, man. I'm one of these worker people. This is all mindset, you understand? It is all someone's mindset. Fulfilling your own prophecy. We all got medical. Well, let's see here. We got all the medical bills paid off, and now I want to rebuild resources. We had to close our flooring business due to the stroke. So someone had a stroke. Was it you that had the stroke? Or was it someone in the family that had the stroke? Either way, you see. So there's living proof right here and I'll just say John, if that's okay, from John down here in the chat. Either John or someone in his family had a stroke, and it's a family business. Sounds like flooring business, family flooring. Had to close the flooring business because of the stroke. Because it seems like, yes, man, I'm so sorry, man, John, for a stroke. And strokes just come up on us, man. Stroke is different, like I guess, than a heart attack in many different ways, right? Sometimes it just comes up on us. So yeah, sorry to hear that about the stroke. Hopefully everything's okay with you. Obviously still here and kicking, which is great, but hopefully everything's okay with your health. Strokes can be very damaging. So we have to close the family business down. Yeah. You had to close the business down. So, and this business, maybe the family thrived off this business and now the business closes down and now it affects the whole family. So guys, I'm just saying, of course we get it. You get it, guys. You don't have to beat the dead horse. We don't have to beat the dead horse here. If we're not doing something, just think of it that way. If you're not doing something, if you're not trying to seek it, if you're not looking for advice from somebody who's done it, if you're not trying to figure it out, there are ways we can create passive cash flow. And we can notch our bills away from our life. And we can turn the tables on the fact that we are always consistently slave to money. We can flip it. And we can, little by little, change those, flip that track, right? They say, oh, the tables have turned. Have you ever heard that? Oh, the tables have turned. Why don't we turn the tables, guys? Instead of us having to continuously, the rest of our life, feel the pressure of being slave to money, can we start to systematically approach this to where within a few short years, we can flip that and we can have money slave to us. We can have money doing the heavy lifting for us instead of the other way around. And is it possible for all of us here? Yeah, it is. What's up, anyone? How you doing? Good to have you back. So I'm going to give you this little story so that you understand my point, okay, guys? Because it's kind of funny, actually. So people always judge things, right? People judge things. When I'm talking about $200 a month passive cash flow, and I'll get people to go, yeah, but $200 a month does nothing. $200 a month is not life-changing. $200. I get it. Okay. I get it. I live in San Diego, California. $200 is how much a carne asada burrito costs out here. Okay. So I get it. But it's the systematic approach of getting yourself on the right track to walk down step by step, to walk down the right path to financial freedom and not keep walking the other direction into financial slavery. It's just a different way to walk, okay? Anyone? Yep. I had my research in a conference and it's for now is accepted, but with some revisions. Okay. I don't know what that is. Love that. Money can work for us. Another statement I heard back in the day was, and I'll get to my funny story, but another statement I heard back in the day is that money is to be looked at as a soldier. This is a story I heard back from a wealthy guy one time. He said, people think of money wrong. He said, you got to think of money as a soldier. He says, for every dollar bill you have, that dollar bill needs to be thought of as a soldier in your army for the fight. For the fight to gain financial freedom, the fight to gain wealth, the fight to build a better financial system for your family, your kids. Okay, it's a fight. Yeah. Well, each dollar you get is a soldier in your army to go and help you fight that battle. We obviously have heard in all of our lives in real war that one of the major advantages in war over the past 200 years or whatever, one of the major advantages have been oftentimes, the side with the most amount of soldiers, the most amount of weapons, the most amount of equipment, the most amount of soldiers, the most manpower, it sometimes is more powerful win the war. Well, think about that. With the army with the most soldiers is more powerful. So if you thought about that, I'm glad you're good now, man. He almost died writing a book on it. That's awesome. So John almost died from a stroke. They had to shut down the family flooring business. Now he's doing fine. So I love it. But in your mindset, every dollar you get is a soldier you're recruiting to your personal army for the fight against financial slavery. That was an interesting thing, right? And a lot of times, guys, if you were able to have an army in a real war that was so overly powerful, that would go and get other sides to surrender, where Do you guys understand this in war? You've heard wave the white flag. And so oftentimes when one side in a war was completely beaten down and they knew that they were just pretty much toast, and it was either just get killed and slaughtered or surrender, then the winning side of that war would not kill them then because they were voluntarily surrendering. And so oftentimes what happened is that they captured prisoners of war. You understand that? So soldiers went and grabbed other soldiers, okay, in the war, grabbed them, didn't kill them, grabbed them, and then brought them over as a prisoner of war, right? So soldiers of your army went and conquered, brought back more soldiers to the army, okay? Think of that. So anyways, silly analogy, I know, but it kind of made sense to me where I was like, okay, I see. So a dollar bill spent on stuff doesn't help you fight any battles. A dollar bill recruited into your army and used to fight against financial slavery, now you've got something powerful. So each dollar should be thought of as a soldier that's going out to capture and bring back to you another soldier, a prisoner of war. Each dollar can go out and trap you another dollar and bring it back to you in handcuffs to make it a part of your slave army. Anyways, I digress. But back to my funny story. So the first deal I did when I got on this track of walking down the right path, at least little baby steps, at least walking down a different path that could lead me to financial freedom. The path I'd been walking down for 20 years wasn't necessarily the right path to lead me to financial freedom. So I started walking down this new path. And I did my first deal, okay? So I want you guys to understand the mentality of this. I did my first deal, and my first deal I did, it generated $37 per month passive cash flow for me. When I did this deal, it generated $37. Not $3,700, not $370, $37 of passive cash flow coming my direction when I did my very first transaction and got started walking down this path to financial freedom. Now we were talking $200 and that kind of thing. Now we're talking $37. So I did my very first transaction. I did my first deal and I had $37 a month coming in. It is kind of laughable. It's okay. I laughed a little bit too. But you know what lesson it did teach me at that point, which is kind of the point here, guys. When you're seeking financial freedom, some of the times in the very beginning, it's not the money, it's not the success, but it is the lessons you learn that create a new person out of you. The lessons you learn that create a new person out of you allow you to go and do different things and things you were not capable of doing before you became a different person. So I did this first deal. This first deal I landed, it brought me $37 a month. Okay. So can you imagine that, guys? And I don't buy physical property. And I don't want to get into that right now. I don't buy physical property, but let's take and look if you're buying physical property as a real estate investor. It'd be like you finally nailed it down and got your first rental property. Can you imagine that? Like you finally nailed it down. You got your first rental property, man. But at the end of the day, in owning that rental property you have acquired, you've got, the property taxes and you've got, all these other expenses in owning that property. And so at the end of the day, when you collect your rent and pay your bills, you've got $37 a month, positive cash flow coming in. Good question. AJ said, how much did I pay? Excuse me. I don't know why my throat's bad today. AJ said, how much should I pay for that $37 a month in passive cash flow? That's the lesson. I paid zero. I paid zero money of my own money to get that $37 a month of passive cash flow coming in. That's one of the lessons. I used somebody else's money to get that $37 a month of passive cash flow coming in for me. Okay. This is neither here nor there. It's a different lesson. I didn't pay anything though. So for me, it's an infinite return. I'm just saying I used my know-how, my knowledge, my skills. So you have to acquire know-how, you have to acquire knowledge, you have to acquire skills, you have to become somebody different in order to do different things, correct? So I spent time studying, probably 6 or 8 months, in order to be able to become a different person, to be able to go out into the world and do different things. So I learned how to acquire a certain asset class using other people's money. I learned it. I learned how it worked. And then I went out and tried to put it to work. And I failed 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 and I failed. And I had a lot of people tell me what I was doing sounded like a scam. What I was doing was something that they had never heard of. And so it's got to be, too good to be true, and all this other stuff, right? Because most people don't know the market I play in. Most people don't know the market I play in. And so it's new to them. And so people have defensive nature about it. So I tried and tried and tried and failed and failed and failed. But I finally then kept trying and succeeded. So I got an investor to participate with me in an asset. I bought this asset with someone else's money. I didn't use my money. So I have zero of my money in. I use knowledge and skills as my value. And someone else saw that value and decided they would place their money with me because their money was their value and my expertise was my value. And we put it together for a good team up. You understand? Andy, you got to get to work. Andy, you work for me, man. You work for me. Okay. You don't have to go. I'm just kidding. Andy's such a good guy, guys. If you're lucky enough to find people like Andy Woodward, who's down here in the chat, Andy works with our investment fund. He's a part of our team. If you're lucky enough to find a guy like Andy to work for your business or to work with you, you will be God blessed. Okay. He's right here supporting me. He works with me in my company. He's here supporting me on my live. And he's telling me in my show, he's got to go because he's got to get to work. What does that tell you? Andy's such a good dude. So Andy, if you got to go, man. We got to get to work. So I get it. Okay. But I made $37 a month passively from my first deal. It's so insignificant, it seems. Yeah. What happened was it taught me a few lessons. And it's the lessons you learn in the beginning that start to create a new person out of you. Once you become a new person inside, you're able to do new things on the outside, right? If you want the world to react differently around you, then you have to be different first, and then the world will respond. So I got all this education. I did this first damn deal, and I got $37 a month coming in. It's somewhat laughable, but it was the lesson, okay? That was $37 that I did not have to go work for again next month. I was no longer a slave to that $37 a month. That's the lesson. And it was like, okay, I learned I could use my knowledge, my skills, and my expertise as my value. And I could go find another human being on the planet that has a lot of money to invest, but maybe doesn't have the know-how or the skills or the value that I bring. And so they're looking for somebody like you or me, somebody who took the time to get the education, the skills, the expertise, the connections to be able to pull off some sort of a valid investment, right? And they search for good operators they can trust to invest with because they're not going to become an expert themselves. They're maybe running a dental practice or something. They already have their expertise, guys. There's people that make really good money and they're always looking for a really good place to put their good money. Okay. They're looking for a good place to invest it. And they're looking at stock market, cryptocurrencies, and this. And if you can find a good opportunity to provide to investors, then you can become valuable to others that have money and you can partner up. You can get financial partners and you can do things together and make win-win situations. Yeah. A little over $1 a day, Dex says. Yep. Little over $1 a day. Woo. Okay. But my first deal got me $37 a month. That $37 a month was passive now. What it taught me was this. I found an interesting loophole, I thought. I said, boy, and my partner and one of my mentor, because it's always good to get a mentor. My mentor said this to me once, and now it finally made sense. He said, have you ever heard of any other career where you do the work one time up front and then from that effort you get paid over and over and over and over and over again? Have you ever seen an industry in where you do the work up front once and then you get paid over and over and over and over? Now, you guys could be thinking about this. What if somebody makes a hit song? Somebody makes a hit song. Okay. And that hit song now is used in TV commercials and movies and all this other stuff. And they get licensing fees for the use of that song. So that would be them doing the work up front one time. Right. And it did take a lot of work, right? A lot of work, a lot of practice, a lot of expertise, a lot of time in the studio, a lot of recording time, a lot of this, a lot of that. It took a lot of work up front and they made this hit song. Now that work has been done. That hit song stays and that hit song gets used year after year after year after year. They get royalties. But anybody on here that good at singing? I'm not. Okay. So what it taught me was I found something that we can all do if we're not blessed with, some majestic angelic voice, and we're not going to make a hit song. Okay. If we're not blessed there, I had stumbled upon something. My mentor had taught me that there was something where I could figure I could do the work one time up front. So you got to put in the time and effort once up front. And once you do this time and effort up front one time, then because it's done, you'll get paid over and over and over and over and over and over without having to redo the work again. So we started comparing it. And it was funny, right? When we talk about dentists, because I have a lot of dentists that like to participate as investors with me. So talk about dentists. Goodness gracious. Wouldn't it be amazing? Think about this. Wouldn't it be amazing if a dentist could go through all the time and the effort to get the knowledge to become a dentist, open up their dental practice, and then only see 30 clients one time? What if you saw 30 clients one time as a dentist? So that means 30 people, individual people, came into your dental practice for help with something they needed to have done with their teeth. Let's call it a filling, okay? Let's call it a tooth filling. Let's say you started a dental practice and you helped 30 patients come into your dental practice. You helped 30 people once get a filling filled. What if now that was enough to allow the dentist to be able to shut down the practice and retire? What about a chiropractor? What if a chiropractor opened up a chiropractics business and only 30 people came in? 30 people. And yeah, what if 30 people, and they adjusted 30 people's backs and did what a chiropractor does to 30 people and did that work one time for those people. And after that, they were able to shut down their entire chiropractics business and retire. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Now, what I learned is that, and the little deal there that was only paying me $37 a month passively, it's the lesson. The lesson was, I did that work up front one time. Does that make sense? That first deal I did. The first deal I did, yes, prior to doing the deal, I had to get my education, my expertise, my connections, my mentorship, and be prepared to go and take action. That was first step. But when I went and did the, deal, that first deal, I had to find a private lender. So I had to do the work to find a private lender. I had to do the work to find an asset to purchase. And then I had to do the work to do all the paperwork and to, do the deal. Okay, I guess you could say. So I had to find the private lender. That was work and effort. I had to find the deal. That was work and effort. And then I had to do the deal and put the paperwork together and be the deal maker. And that was effort. But I did that effort one time up front. And I now was going to be getting paid $37 a month, month after month after month after month, without having to redo that work again. So you kind of found this magic formula of, it doesn't work in dentistry. It doesn't work in chiropractics. It doesn't work in many other businesses at all, that you could serve 30 clients, do 30 deals, serve 30 clients, adjust 30 backs as a chiropractor, and now just get paid over and over and over and over because you did that work up front once. It sounds weird. Normal industries, yes. In this industry, I figured out, wow, I just did that work up front once. The work to find the private lender, the work to find the deal, and the work to put it all together and do the paperwork. I did that work up front once. Now it's going to get paid $37 a month every month thereafter without having to redo that work again. That's the ultimate lesson. One of the major lessons. So then that's why I got on to talking to you guys about eliminating your bills one by one. $37 a month when I did my first deal really didn't pay for any of my bills, I suppose. I don't know if I had a bill that was $37. It pays for your Netflix subscription. There you go. You don't have to any longer work for money to pay for Netflix, but you get my point. It was the lesson I learned that was really the win, that you could do the work up front one time and then get paid over and over and over and over and over without having to redo the work again. This creates financial freedom. So then if I could put that on repeat, I thought, man, what if I could put that on repeat? Well, think about this. The average deal I do in my industry, is not $37 a month. That was the very first deal I ever did. The average is about $200 a month. So the average deal that I do with a financial partner, where I have zero money invested into it, I just use my skill set, my knowledge, my expertise in the asset class. And a money partner wants to join up with me to get the financial benefit, but they don't want to go through what I've gone through to become an expert at it. Well, those two people need each other. So we go find a private lender and do one transaction. If I do find a private lender and I do one transaction, the average from each transaction is about $200 a month when we're looking at our portfolios. So it's $200 a month, passive cash flow coming in every single month from doing the work upfront one time. So there now you see the formula. If you need to earn $5,000 per month, do it in the calculator, you'll see. $5,000 per month. Divide that by 200. And how many deals would you need to do to be financially free if $5,000 a month pays your bills? If $5,000 a month pays your bills, and if you had $5,000 per month, every month coming in passively without having to work for it, you could be financially free then. It means you wouldn't have to go work for the money. The money's coming in passively every month. It allows you to cover your lifestyle bills. And now you don't have to trade your time and energy for money anymore. Okay. Yeah. Dexter says 2 per month. So in thinking of that, right? So if you needed $5,000 a month, let's do you, Dexter. Let's do you. Let's do Dexter. Dexter lives in San Diego, California, and has a bigger bill set than most. Dexter has family, grandkids, all this stuff. So I get it. Life's expensive. Dexter needs $8,000 a month. What's 8,000 divided by 200? Is it 25? Or is that 5,000? You talking about 5,000, Dex? So you guys get it. I mean, you guys know how to use a calculator and do math. Take how much money do you need per month to pay your bills? Yeah. 25 deals at 200 a month is $5,000. So think about that, guys. If you need thanks for that, Dex. If you need $5,000 a month, if $5,000 a month passively would set you financially free and allow you to get out of the matrix and stop going and having to trade time and energy for this little bit of money, because $5,000 a month, believe it or not, is not a lot of money. $5,000 a month is not a lot of money. So we can get you there, but it's a systematic approach. Dexter even said down here in the chat, do 2 deals per month. Let's talk about doing 1 deal per month, just 1 deal per month. You can find one private lender and acquire 1 asset per month. And we can do this while we still have a full-time job. Okay. So if it's $200 a month per, and you need $5,000 a month, it is 25. And if Dexter needs $8,000 a month, then it's 40 deals. Okay. Now I want you to just put this in perspective, because we talked about dentists and chiropractors. Put this in perspective. In the industry that I'm in, by using your talent, your knowledge, your expertise, your connections, your support systems, that becomes your value. You can become very valuable to investors that actually have money to invest. You become valuable to them. And so you're providing a great opportunity for a private lender, and you're providing an opportunity for yourself as the operator. And for each deal you do, it's $200 a month passive cash flow. If you need $5,000 a month to set yourself financially free, it's 25 transactions. If you need $8,000 a month to be financially free, it's 40 transactions. So let's just talk about doing 1 transaction per month, which is doable for most individuals. 1 transaction per month. It adds $200 a month passive cash flow to your bottom line. Well, if you did 1 deal per month, and you needed $5,000 per month to set yourself financially free, and you did 1 deal per month, are you guys seeing that within a 24-month time period, within only 2 years' time from starting from scratch, 2 years' time, by doing 1 deal a month, 1 transaction per month, and staying on that track, that somebody who needs $5,000 a month, within 2 years, 24 months, you can quit your job. That's perspective. So that's wild, right? And anybody can do what I do. You don't have to have a God-blessed voice or be some sort of major talent. Oh, Chase. I don't know if Chase is still on here. Chase texted me, do I want to go to the golf bar today? I'm not quite sure, man. I'm trying to keep easy on my body because I have a golf tournament I'm playing in tomorrow. I don't want to really overdo it. But I'll sure as heck come hang out with you and hit a few shots just to practice a little bit. I won't go too crazy, but I can come hang out with you. My buddy Chase on here is a spectacular golfer. Not only physically fit and can outlift me, but he also hits the ball further than me. So, always hang out with people better than you who bring you up in certain areas of life. One of my mottos. Wild, right, AJ? Wild. You could do 25 transactions, only do one transaction per month while still doing your same life you're doing, and just do some added stuff you're not doing now, and do one transaction per month and be financially free in 2 years. In Dexter's case, if it's 40 deals, less than 4 years. We got 36 months there plus a little. And Dexter said, hey, what if you just did 2 transactions per month and just stepped it up a tad? Yeah, Chase. Hey, thanks for cruising. And just let me know what time I can scoot over there at some point. I know that I maybe have to pick up my daughter from school at 3 p.m. So it can't be around 3 to 3:30. I'll be busy then for sure. But yeah, we can go and I'll hang with you at the golf bar. It sounds fun. So interesting perspective anyways, guys. There's not much else you can show me in life where you can do one single deal, one time, put that away, do the work once up front, and then get paid over and over and over and over and over and over and over for 10, 15, 20 years. It's wild. It's wild. What if instead of one deal a month, how many deals could be generated if it was someone's main focus? Well, that's what I did, AJ. That's what I did, AJ. So what I did, guys, is I found out that this was possible, and I found out that anybody could do it, and I found out that you didn't have to have some majestic voice and make a hit single to get royalties. I found out that you could acquire paper assets backed by real estate, and you can do this from a computer desk. I realized that you can utilize your skills, knowledge, and expertise to become valuable to investors. You can utilize private lenders, making a win-win situation, and use your skills and expertise to acquire these assets. You're building up your net worth. You're building up your passive cash flow. And the answer to your question, AJ said, what if somebody really just concentrated on this and had full-time energy on it? How quick could it go? It's up to you. I mean, I can't give a prediction on how quick it can go. All I can tell you is this. I started doing this in 2018 by way of education. I started getting my education in 2018. I bought my first deal. Remember at my first deal, I started getting $37 a month from it passively. I did my first deal in early 2019. And so from early 2019 to now, we have $17.8 million worth of these assets under management now. And because of getting, and guys, to let you know this too, because I started walking down this different path and being around different people, and walking down this different path towards financial freedom and beginning to take those steps, right? The further you get down the path, the more opportunity comes about that you never thought would be presented to you. So in the meantime, in walking down this path to financial freedom, we were presented with some opportunity, and we were able to then start building apartments from the ground up, which is separate from the asset class I specialize in. So we were able to start building apartments from the ground up in Florida, which I never thought I'd be doing. If you talked to me 4 years ago, and you'd have said, hey, guess what, man? You're about to be building apartments in Florida from the ground up, I would have said you were on drugs. Okay? So we don't know where it's going to lead. That's one of the beautiful parts of the unknown. But as long as we're walking down the path to financial freedom, don't you think eventually, step by step, you're going to get there? Certainly. So that was my thought process. So we ended up starting building these apartments in that. So we have $17.8 million worth of paper assets under management. We're building apartments out in Palm Bay, not Palm Beach, but Palm Bay, Florida, which is Brevard County. It's the Space Coast, or the East Coast of Florida, where they shoot off the rockets. That's why they call it the Space Coast. But, so I would have never been building these apartments in Florida and doing some of these larger ventures that we've gotten into if it weren't for the connections and the opportunities that came about and got in our way when we were walking down the path to financial freedom. So it's a great path to start walking down. You start where you're at. Oh, you lived in Melbourne. I lived in Melbourne for a year. Oh, you did, AJ? So Melbourne County is where Palm Bay is, the city. So AJ, you're very familiar with that. So we're building a 32-unit apartment building that's about 75% of the way complete right now. It's almost done. And then we have a 48 unit property that's shovel ready. So we're building a 32 unit and a 48 unit apartment building. If you told me 4 years ago I'd be in the position building apartment buildings in Florida right now, when I live in San Diego, I'd have told you you were on some sort of drug. So that is just the opportunities that get put in your way. It's funny how the universe starts to give you what you're asking for. Pretty wild, right? Best year of your life. I imagine, dude. Melbourne's a great place. Florida's awesome. Great weather. It's beautiful out there. Melbourne's a beautiful little city. Undergrowth. That's why we're building apartments up there, because it's growing. We call the Melbourne area and that Palm Bay city the path of progress, right? It's progress is happening and moving towards that area. And so if you can get ahead of or be in the way of the path of progress when you're doing building of multifamily, you're in good positioning. So we're filling a need out there. Beautiful area. So cool, AJ, small world, right? Lived out in Palm Bay and Melbourne County or lived out in Melbourne County, not necessarily Palm Bay, but Melbourne County is where Palm Bay exists, and that's where we're building these apartments. So, yes, 17, but it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me, AJ. I have a team, I have a partner, I have a mentor, and there's a team of us. It's not just me personally. So I do have to give credit where credit is due. It's not just me. I couldn't have done it all by myself. So that's the thing about getting a team and getting the right people around you. So yes, we have about $17.8 million of paper assets under management, and it's been 7 years I've been doing this. So it can happen. It can happen very, very quickly. And then now we're building these apartments from the ground up and such in Florida, which is going to start to benefit our family financially as well. But the bottom line is, yes, I started in 2018 burning the boats, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was taking big risks, man. I sold my house. I moved. I quit my $100,000 a year job, and I did all this crazy risky stuff because I wanted it so bad. I was so sick of financial slavery, and I wanted to be I wanted to get myself free. And when your why, when your driving force is burning inside you enough, you'll start to take action. And so I started to take some action, and thankfully I did. It worked out, but it was the unknown. I didn't know it was going to work out. If you told me even just 4 years ago, if you told me I was going to be building apartments in Florida right now, I would have called you crazy. So it's just, you guys have to start walking down the path to financial freedom step by step if you eventually want to get there. If you're not walking step by step towards some new target, of course, you'll never reach it. Doing business in the East Coast, Florida, while living in San Diego. Fun times. That is what I must say, AJ, is a benefit to me being so blessed to have a wonderful team in Florida that are my boots on the ground. So anyways, guys, I've been chatting a little bit long today, but at least we got to get a little bit personal today. I am not lifting weights. Usually this is like a lift and learn session where I'm really kind of trying to lift weights in my gym and also talk to you guys at the same time. But as you know, I have a golf tournament tomorrow morning and I want to play well in the golf tournament. And so I give myself a day break from lifting. And you should be doing that too. Recovery, guys, and giving yourself a break sometimes. Recovery is just as important as the grind and the hustle, both in physical and financial fitness, okay? We don't want to get burnt out. We don't want to get burnt out in chasing physical fitness. We don't want to burn ourselves out in chasing financial freedom. We want to take it step by step, and it's okay to take a day off sometimes to recover, mentally or physically. Sometimes your body needs it and your brain needs it. But let's just continue to help each other, guys. I'll be here 6:30 in the morning to 8 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. So I won't be back here until next Monday. You guys enjoy your wonderful weekend. Thank you, AJ, for being so kind and being a fan of my content. I very much appreciate it, man. And so, guys, down in the my resources are down in the description of the video. So, do I help people? Yes, I have an investing school. Do I have an investment fund where people can just invest with us and not have to learn anything? Yes. My calendar link is down there so people can get on a call with me for free. I don't charge $100 an hour, $500 an hour to talk to people. I'm here to help you. So all that stuff is down there, guys. Link to my calendar, link to our school if you want to learn how to become financially free doing what it is we do. Want to learn how to raise private capital and all that. Maybe you just have money to invest and you don't want to learn all this stuff. And that's why we started an investment fund for people that can rely upon our skills. and just make money with us in what we do. So people right now, like, we're raising capital right now to build our apartments in Florida, right? So there's a lot of people out there with money that are saying, hey, wow, look at these guys. They have a great team in place. They bought the land. They entitled it. Oh, yeah, every Thursday, right? Yeah, so that's right. Thanks, Bethany, for reminding me. Every Thursday, like AJ, if you want to come check it out, every Thursday at 12 noon Pacific time, and I do believe I put the link down there in the description of my video for it, but every Thursday at 12 noon Pacific time, I do a webinar, a lunch and learn. And of course, I am dressed nicer and I'm in my office and all that stuff. You won't recognize me. Not in my gym with my gym clothes on at 6:30 in the morning. But I do a professional presentation on what it is we do. And I talk to people about my coaching program and how we can help people, achieve financial freedom in that. But I do a full-on breakdown of the assets I buy, case studies, how it works, how it looks. And I teach people for free on Thursdays. So it is down there in the description of this video. If you guys want to join me next Thursday at 12 noon Pacific time, you can sign up and come hang out with me on Zoom, where I'll do much more of an educational webinar where I actually show case studies and slides and things like that. It's hard just verbally in my workout lives to get people real information. Trying to talk about numbers and stuff like that can be difficult, but yeah. So all the resources are down there. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out. Love y'all. Where's the best place to start in notes? Paper Stack. I will tell you this. I give a shout out to Brett Berkey and all my homies over there at Paper Stack, because I know all the guys that own and run that company very well. Good friends of mine, good dudes. But yeah, no, Paper Stack's a great place. I run Note Investor University, where we have a really intensive training program, because we know that one of the things people are going to have to do to scale any real estate investing business is learn the skill of how to raise private capital. And there's a lot of educational places that teach you the ins and outs of the asset class, but they don't teach you the real how-tos of how to get out there and put deals together. So we pride ourselves there. And ours is called Note Investor University, and it is a real university curriculum on how we can get people to be a professional in our space very quickly. Paper Stack, guys, if you don't know what he's talking about, Paper Stack, shout out to my boys. Paper Stack, spelled with a C at the end. Paper Stack with a C at the end. Is a website where they trade notes. They trade mortgage notes and other types of notes there on that website. So it's a hub where people can sell or buy assets. It's called Paper Stack. But that gives you an idea, guys, into what I do, and to know it's not impossible. They sell these assets that I buy even online on websites these days. So I digress, guys. Thank you for staying here with me today. It was fun to have more of a little intimate conversation with you guys, be able to get face-to-face a little more personal. If you do want to get on my webinar and learn more about what it is I do, how I was able to achieve financial freedom, how you can do it too, then down there is a link, and thank you, Bethany, for reminding me. There is a link down there in the description of the video, and you can sign up for my webinar, and I'll see you Thursday. Other than that, guys, we'll be back right here doing the same damn thing, except for I'll be lifting weights on a Monday. I got to go out and try to play well in this golf tournament tomorrow. Thank you for the good luck wishes. Thank you for the support. If you're new and you like this kind of a content, you want to look at physical and financial freedom, and you want to try to better yourself physically, better yourself financially, I'm here to just help with that. That's all. I'm here to give people motivation in both categories, physical and financial. So subscribe, hit the little notification bell, come join me in the mornings, hit my webinar up with me on Thursday if you'd like. And, I love the fact that I'm able to provide some value for other people. That's why I do this. So, guys, you have a wonderful rest of the day. It is Friday. Have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Enjoy time with your families. And I'll see you guys back here, same time, same place, 6:30 a.m. on Monday.